Have you ever noticed that whenever someone mentions credit cards online, people suddenly split into two extreme camps? One side says, credit cards are financial poison. Cut them up immediately. And the other side says, if you're not using credit cards, you're leaving free money on the table. And right in the center of this debate stands one of the most famous financial voices in America, Dave Ramsey. Now, before anyone gets angry in the comments, this is not a hate video. Actually, I think Dave Ramsey has helped millions of people escape debt, stop overspending, and finally take control of their lives. But there are three major reasons I personally refuse to follow his credit card advice. And honestly, I think a lot of financially responsible people feel the same way. They're just afraid to say it publicly. Because the moment you disagree with Dave Ramsey about credit cards, people act like you just insulted a religion. So in this video, we're going deep. Not surface-level credit cards good nonsense. We're talking about psychology, financial systems, real-world practicality, and why blanket advice sometimes creates new problems while solving old ones. And trust me, reason number 3 is the one almost nobody talks about. So let's start with the biggest misconception of all. Credit cards are not the problem. Dave Ramsey often says something along the lines of, if you play with snakes long enough, eventually you get bitten. And I understand the point. Millions of people misuse credit cards. People swipe emotionally. They buy things they can't afford. They carry balances. Then interest destroys them. That part is absolutely true. But here's where I disagree. The credit card itself is not the root problem. The behavior is. Because think about this. A credit card is just a financial tool. That's it. And tools become dangerous only when the user lacks discipline. A kitchen knife can cook dinner, or hurt someone. A car can take you to work, or crash into a wall. And money magnifies behavior. If someone already struggles with impulse control, a credit card makes that worse. But if someone is disciplined, a credit card becomes one of the most useful financial tools available. See, this is where I think Ramsey's advice becomes too absolute. He gives the same rule to everyone, never use credit cards. But not everyone is financially identical. Some people absolutely should avoid credit cards. No debate. If someone has gambling tendencies, shopping addiction, massive debt habits, or zero self-control, then yes, credit cards may genuinely be dangerous. But for financially responsible users, using debit only can actually put them at a disadvantage. And this matters because modern financial systems are built around credit. Whether we like it or not. You rent apartments with credit checks. You finance cars with credit scores. Sometimes employers check credit history. Insurance companies may even use credit data in pricing. So pretending credit doesn't matter doesn't make the system disappear. And here's the ironic part. Many wealthy people use credit cards constantly. Not because they're broke, but because they understand leverage, protection, rewards, and liquidity. That's a completely different mindset from reckless spending. The real issue isn't, do you use credit cards? The real issue is, do credit cards control you? Because there's a massive difference. And honestly, I think teaching financial discipline is more powerful than teaching financial avoidance. Because avoidance doesn't always build self-control. Sometimes it just delays the test. You're ignoring real financial benefits. Now let's talk about the part Ramsey almost never emphasizes enough. The actual advantages of responsible credit card usage. And no, I'm not talking about buying luxury handbags to earn airline miles. I'm talking about practical, everyday benefits. For example, fraud protection. If someone steals your debit card information, that money leaves your bank account immediately. Your actual cash disappears first. But with a credit card, the bank's money is on the line first. That layer of separation matters, especially today, where scams, hacking, and digital fraud are exploding everywhere. Second, rewards. And I know some Ramsey fans hate hearing this part, but mathematically, cashback is real money. If someone pays every balance in full, never pays interest, and earns rewards on expenses they were already going to make anyway, that's objectively beneficial. Groceries, fuel, bills, flights, business expenses. Why would I intentionally refuse benefits for purchases I already planned to make? That's like refusing a discount because you're afraid discounts exist. Now obviously, this only works if you never carry a balance. That's the key. Because the second interest enters the picture, the rewards game collapses. And this is where nuance matters. Ramsey talks to millions of Americans drowning in debt. So his advice is designed to protect the worst-case spender. I understand that. But the problem is when people assume his advice must therefore apply universally to every financially responsible person on Earth. That's where I disagree. Because financially mature users can absolutely benefit from credit cards without becoming trapped by them. And then there's travel. Some people save thousands through point systems. Free flights, hotel upgrades, travel protections, rental insurance. Again, only if managed responsibly. But here's the deeper issue nobody talks about enough. Opportunity cost. When you completely reject financial tools, you may also reject financial efficiency. And over decades, small efficiencies compound massively. Even a simple 2% cashback strategy over years becomes meaningful. Especially for business owners or families with high monthly expenses. Now does that mean everyone should get 12 credit cards tomorrow? Absolutely not. That would be stupid. But I also don't believe fear-based financial thinking creates the smartest long-term outcomes. Because money management should be based on behavior and math, not emotion alone. And honestly, some people follow financial personalities so blindly, they stop evaluating ideas critically. That's dangerous no matter who the expert is. The world doesn't operate on Ramsey's rules. Now here's the third reason I refuse to follow Dave Ramsey's credit card advice. And in my opinion, this is the most important one. His advice often assumes ideal conditions in a non-ideal world. But real life is messy. Modern systems are messy. And sometimes rigid financial philosophies don't survive real-world complexity. For example, imagine two people. Both are financially disciplined. Both pay bills on time. Both avoid debt. Both budget carefully. But one person has no credit history at all, while the other has years of responsible credit usage. Now suddenly both apply for a mortgage, a car loan, or even an apartment. Guess what happens? The system often rewards the second person. Not because they're morally superior, but because the financial system values demonstrated credit behavior. That's reality. And saying, well, you shouldn't play the credit score game at all. Sounds good philosophically, until real-world consequences appear. And this is where I think Ramsey's advice sometimes becomes disconnected from modern economic reality. Because avoiding debt entirely sounds amazing in theory. But financially optimized systems aren't built around theory. They're built around measurable risk profiles. That's why banks care about credit history. Now again, I understand Ramsey's perspective. He sees debt destroying lives every day. And honestly, he's not wrong about the dangers. Debt can ruin marriages, stress people into depression, destroy financial futures. But there's a difference between debt is dangerous and all credit usage is automatically bad. Those are not the same statement. And personally, I think nuance matters more than financial absolutism. Because life is rarely black and white. The financially healthiest people I know usually sit somewhere in the middle. They avoid toxic debt, pay balances immediately, use credit strategically, maintain emergency savings, and stay emotionally detached from spending. That's balance. Not fear. Not addiction. Not blind consumption. Balance. And maybe the biggest issue I have with extreme anti-credit messaging is this. It can unintentionally keep financially disciplined people from learning advanced money management skills. Because once you understand how financial systems actually work, you stop seeing credit cards as free money. You see them as controlled instruments. Nothing more, nothing less. And honestly, financial maturity is not proven by avoiding every financial tool. It's proven by using tools responsibly without losing control. That's the real test. Now, to be completely fair, if credit cards have already caused chaos in your life, then Dave Ramsey's advice may genuinely be the perfect solution for you. Seriously, sometimes extreme rules create necessary discipline. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for financially responsible adults who budget carefully, pay balances in full, avoid emotional spending, and understand risk, I personally don't believe credit cards are the enemy. Lack of discipline is. That's the difference. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Personal finance is personal. Not every strategy fits every person. Not every financial expert is universally right. And the smartest thing you can do is learn how money actually works, instead of blindly following anyone, even people you admire. So now I want to hear from you. Do you agree with Dave Ramsey on credit cards? Or do you think responsible users can benefit from them? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is far from over. And trust me, people are very passionate about this topic. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more deep financial psychology and money breakdowns. And I'll see you in the next one.